Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. Here I teach you how to crochet various stitches in different forms and styles. And in today's video, we're moving on to the next video in our Alpine Stitch series, which is how to increase with the Alpine Stitch. So what that means is that I've already posted a video on how to crochet the Alpine Stitch. I'll have that link in the cards if you haven't seen that, because you need that knowledge to be able to increase with the Alpine Stitch, okay? But if you already know how to crochet the Alpine Stitch, then it's fine. You don't have to click away. You can stay, because now we're going to learn how to increase with the Alpine Stitch. So grab your hook and your yarn, and now I'm going to chain an even number. Okay, so this is just basic Alpine Stitch stuff, right? But basically you want to have at least 3 rows of your Alpine Stitch all done before we move on to the next step. I'll quickly do that and I'll be back. I have my 3 rows of the Alpine Stitch all done here. Although I did something a little bit different than from the tutorial that I showed you for how to crochet the Alpine Stitch. And that is that instead of on my third row, instead of starting with a regular double crochet before my extended front post double crochet, I started with a front post double crochet, then I made the extended front post double crochet. So if you were working the Alpine Stitch, normally you would start with a normal double crochet, then you would work an extended front post, right, in your third row. And then when you were working your fifth row, you would start with an extended front post, then you work a regular double crochet so that it alternates each other, right? And that's how you create the Alpine Stitch, right? But what I did is I just switched the order. It doesn't change what your stitches look like. And the reason why I switched the order is because we are going to be increasing, okay? So, and you will understand that in a second. So now chain 1, and we're going to work our 4th row, which is a single crochet row, okay? So for your increase happens on your single crochet rows, okay? So now into this first stitch, I'm going to make 1 double crochet, and I'm going to make a second double crochet into that first stitch. So you're making a single crochet increase um, on your 4th row. And then I'm going to work single crochet into all the stitches. In between, and then into the last stitch I'm going to make 2 single crochets, so a single crochet increase. So we have 1 and we have 2. Okay, so I started with 10 stitches, right? So now I have 12 stitches here. Okay, increasing on both sides still gives us an even number of stitches, which is usually what we should have for the Alpine Stitch. So chain 2 and let's work our 5th row. Okay, so now when you consider the stitches, you know, we made an extra stitch here. There's an extra stitch here, right? So that means that this front post, extended front post, corresponds with the second stitch here, right? So I'm going to start by making a regular double crochet into the first stitch, because we can't make an extended there as at the beginning. And I'm also going to make a regular double crochet, which is what should be on our first stitch normally, into the second stitch. Okay, then I'm going to make an extended front post into the double crochet that is in between these 2 extended front posts. Then I'm just going to continue to work my Alpine Stitch as usual, which is alternating between the extended front post and a regular double crochet, making sure to skip the single crochet that falls behind the extended front post. Okay, so just keep that in mind so that you don't make a mistake there. So you can see here that I'm at the end, and these are my last two stitches, which were the increase, okay, at the beginning. So I've just made a regular double crochet, right, which means I'm making an extended into this last stitch here, which would correspond with one of the increase here, okay. So make your extended this, we don't really doesn't, it might not really look like an extended, but just make your stitch like you normally would, and then make one double crochet into the very last stitch. Okay, and that's how you complete the row. So because we're alternating stitches and we're working an even number of stitches, usually the stitch you end with would be the opposite of the stitch you started with, right? But here we can see we have double crochet, and that's because this double crochet here is supposed to be an extended front post double crochet, right? But there's nothing to hang on for it to hang on to because it's an increased stitch, okay? And so that's why it's a double crochet. But this should have been an extended front post, and this one rightly is a regular double crochet, okay? So we're going to make two more rows just so that you get the idea better. So chain one, and we're going to work row 6, which is an even number row, which is a single crochet row, which is also the row where we are going to make our increase. So into the first stitch here, I'm going to make 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. And I'm just going to work 1 single crochet each into all the stitches until I get to the end. On the last stitch here, I'm going to make 2 single crochets. Okay, so that's the end of our row 6. So to make the 6th row now as an extended front post double crochet row, start by chaining 2 and turn your work. And let's look at this carefully. We have an extended front post here, we have a regular here, and we have an extended, this should be an extended front post, right? That means that a regular double crochet is supposed to go on top of this, and this stitch corresponds with the second single crochet because we had an increase. This stitch corresponds with the second single crochet here, right? That means what is next to it should be what? An extended front post double crochet. But we cannot do that, so we work a regular double crochet in the first stitch and a regular double crochet in the next stitch, which should be a regular double crochet, okay? Then in our third stitch here, which is going to be on this one, we'll make a front post, an extended front post double crochet. Okay, I hope that it makes sense now. But basically, this is what you are repeating for every odd number row. You're making 2 stitches at the beginning next to each other, not an increase. Remember, we have increased on the previous row. So 2 stitches next to each other before you are going to make your first extended front post. Okay, so that's the major difference. And then from here on, we just continue to work the Alpine stitch as usual. So I'm back to the end here, right? I just made a double crochet. I should have an extended front post double crochet next, which is supposed to fall here, right? Since this double crochet here, this extended double crochet here is corresponding with this last double crochet I've just made. Okay, and then I have 2 single crochets left here, so I'm going to skip one work an extended front post right here and then walk into the next one. So I'm going to, sometimes instead of going like this, I like to grab onto like pieces or parts of that stitch there, so that it actually looks like an extended front post and not just looking weird. I have a knot in my yarn. Okay, so once I work that one there, remember there's an increase here, so you have to make your last double crochet into the last single crochet. You can see that this is the stitch that we just made for our front post that we just skipped, right? So there's still one last stitch here, so don't forget to walk into that last stitch. So as you can see how that increase is beginning to show, right? So the more you do it, the more you see, wide how wide again. If we just count our extended front post, you'll see. So here we have on our first group of stitches, we have 1 2 3 4 5, right? In the next one here we have 1 2 3 4 5, still 5, and then the next one here we have 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, it should be 7, but this stitch you can make an extended front post because it's a beginning stitch. Okay, so now at this point, to continue your increase, you would make a single crochet row where you would increase at the beginning and you would increase at the end. Okay, so I haven't figured out how to increase in between with this stitch, but basically this is how you do your increase with the Alpine stitch at the beginning and at the end of your work. Okay, and I hope you have found this video helpful and useful. I have a PDF guide, right, that details how to crochet everything relating to the Alpine stitch. How to crochet it, how to increase with it, how to decrease with it, how to work it in the round, and how to make a granny square with it. Okay, so I will have that linked in the description box of this video so that you can check that out if you want. I also have a blog post where I make posts about how to make all these stitches. So feel free to check that one out too for more details about it. Okay, so I will see you in my next video. Until then, take care and goodbye.